Namaste, dear students. As usual, today also I want to welcome you to our English class of grade 7. You know, we are learning the text subject matters given in Unit 5. So can you tell me what did we learn in our previous class? You are right. We learned the story, and what was the title? Can you tell me? Yes, it's interesting, that was the three merchants, okay? So could you remember the story once? Fine. There were three merchants. They went to the town and they were able to make a profit doing trade, And at that time there was not any banker, so they gave their money to an old man. And what was the condition? The condition was that the old man would not return the money if those three merchants would not go to ask, okay? But there was a cheater, dishonest merchant, and he took away that money. Could you remember all the story? Very good. Then what did we do? Yes, we did some comprehension exercises. And today we are going to learn something new. And can you tell me what are we going to learn today? You are right. We are going to do some task for our listening skill. So for it, you have to be ready with your English textbook, your exercise book, and pen or pencil. Are you ready with them? Very good. If so, now you can look at the instruction. The instruction says, how do you make suggestions to people? What are the structures you used for making suggestions to people? For example, your friend has a problem of tooth aching. So at that time, how do you suggest? How do you advise your friend? Can you tell me? Now you can tell me the sentence. You should, okay, very good. You should go to a dentist. Is it? Very good. Can you tell me one more sentence, not using this structure, you should? Very good. What did you say? Please tell me once again. All right, that is, if I were you, I would go to a dentist. You are absolutely correct, okay? So these are the structures. And do you think that we have only these two structures? You should plus infinitive, or you can say if I were you, I would plus infinitive. Or are there any more? Yes, you are right. There are some more structures. And today we are going to practice these structures on the listening and speaking skills, okay? So for this one, I just like to show you some structures as you have said. For example, you should plus infinitive. You can see you should plus infinitive. Or in simple words, you can understand as verb 1, okay? But you have to practice saying infinitive. Another structure. See, how about plus verb ing, present participle. How about plus verb ing? So, can you make a sentence? How about going to a dentist, you can say. Very good. Now, another structure, can you tell me again? Yes, you can use why don't you plus infinitive. So, can you tell me the sentence for this structure? Yes. Why don't you go to a dentist? Okay. Another structure. You just try to tell me. Very good. It is you should plus infinitive. It is repeated. Okay. Now, another one. You ought to plus infinitive. Now, in place of should, you can use ought to also. You ought to go to a dentist. Very good. So, another one that you have already told me. If I were you, I would, or you can use should, or you can use might plus infinitive. Is it clear, all of you? You can use any of these structures if you want to give suggestion or advice to anyone. Is it clear? After this, we have a recording. Listen to the recording and be familiar with the questions to fill in the blanks. Now, you are going to listen to the recording. After listening that one, you have to do a task. And our task is this one. So first of all of you read this task so that you can be familiar to fill in the blanks. So let me read also. 1. A. Dot 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 blank space. You have to supply there. B. Why don't you? Blank space a book. Again A says, no, I don't blank space like reading. And 2. A. Blank space. Let's get something to eat. B. Why don't we blank space pizza? Again A says, that's a good blank space. Now 3. A says, blank space, do something tonight. B says, how about seeing a blank space? And again A says, blank space, what movie do you want to see? Now 4. A says, I've got a blank space. You have to find out the words after listening to the audio, okay? And then why don't you? B says, C, blank space, and aspirin and rest. And then again A says, thanks, I, blank space. 5. A says, where, blank space, we meet. B says, how, blank space, the coffee shop. Again there is a blank space, door. A says again, it's too, blank space, let's go someplace quiet, Now 6. A says, I need some. B says, how about going for a? Again we have blank space, with me. And again A says, sure, I will get my blank space. 7. A says, that was a blank space day, I am exhausted, okay? B says, why, blank space again, you get to bed, again blank space. Again A says, I can't, I, blank space, have work to do. Now 8. A says, you have to find the information again. B says, why don't you borrow some blank space from your brother? And again A says, I can't, he is broke. And then again you have to supply the necessary information from the recording. So is it clear about this task for you? Very good. If so, now you have to listen to the audio first and again listen and look at the task together. And in the second play, I will play the audio for the second time. You just do your task, okay? And for the third time, I will play the audio. And at that time, you have to check your answers. Is it clear, all of you? Well done. If so, I want to play the audio for the first time. All of you, listen to it very carefully.
1.
I'm bored.
Why don't you read a book?
Nah, I don't feel like reading.
2. I'm hungry. Let's get something to eat.
Why don't we order pizza?
That's a good idea. 3.
Let's do something tonight.
How about seeing a movie?
Sure. What movie do you want to see?
4. I've got a headache.
Why don't you take an aspirin and rest?
Thanks, I will. 5.
Where should we meet?
How about the coffee shop next door?
It's too noisy. Let's go someplace quiet.
6. I need some exercise.
How about going for a walk with me?
Sure, I'll get my shoes. 7.
That was a long day. I'm exhausted.
Why don't you go to bed early?
I can't. I still have work to do.
8. I'm broke.
Why don't you borrow some money from your brother?
I can't. He's broke too.
Dear students, now I hope you might have been familiar with the task, the information that you have to find out from the audio. Now I am going to play the audio for the second time, and this time you have to fill in the blanks with the necessary information. Is it clear, all of you? Good. Now listen to it very carefully and fill in the blanks with the appropriate information.
1.
I'm bored.
Why don't you read a book?
Nah, I don't feel like reading.
2. I'm hungry. Let's get something to eat.
Why don't we order pizza?
That's a good idea. 3.
Let's do something tonight.
How about seeing a movie?
Sure. What movie do you want to see?
4. I've got a headache.
Why don't you take an aspirin and rest?
Thanks, I will. 5.
Where should we meet?
How about the coffee shop next door?
It's too noisy. Let's go someplace quiet.
6. I need some exercise.
How about going for a walk with me?
Sure, I'll get my shoes. 7.
That was a long day. I'm exhausted.
Why don't you go to bed early?
I can't. I still have work to do.
8. I'm broke.
Why don't you borrow some money from your brother?
I can't. He's broke too.
Dear students, I hope you might have filled in the blanks correctly. Now, I am going to play this audio for the third time. It means that it is the last time to play. You have to listen to it very carefully and check your answers. And you can correct your answers if it is necessary. Okay? Now, you all listen to it very attentively.
1.
I'm bored.
Why don't you read a book?
Nah, I don't feel like reading.
2. I'm hungry. Let's get something to eat.
Why don't we order pizza?
That's a good idea. 3.
Let's do something tonight.
How about seeing a movie?
Sure. What movie do you want to see?
4. I've got a headache.
Why don't you take an aspirin and rest?
Thanks, I will. 5.
Where should we meet?
How about the coffee shop next door?
It's too noisy. Let's go someplace quiet.
6. I need some exercise.
How about going for a walk with me?
Sure, I'll get my shoes. 7.
That was a long day. I'm exhausted.
Why don't you go to bed early?
I can't. I still have work to do.
8. I'm broke.
Why don't you borrow some money from your brother?
I can't. He's broke too.
Dear students, I hope you might have checked your answers. Have you corrected your any answer? Well, don't worry. I hope most of the answers are correct. And if you cannot correct after listening to the audio also, don't worry. I am here. I have also listened to the audio. Now I will help you. Now you can check your answers with me. Now can you tell me what is the correct information that we need here? 1A. What's your answer? You all tell me please. Wow, well done. It is bored. I'm bored. Okay. And B says, why don't you? Then what is the correct answer? Yes, your answer should be that, why don't you read a book? And again A says, no, I don't. What did you write there? See, is this? Very good, feel. I don't feel like reading, Now 2, what is the correct information there? You have written. Again, very good. I'm hungry. Let's get something to eat. And B says, why don't we? What is the correct word we need here? That is order. Exactly. And again A says, that's a good. What's the word we need there? Yes, in the audio it is said idea, 3. A says, what is the correct word there? Do something tonight. What is it? Yes, let's do something tonight. And B says, how about seeing what is the word you got from the audio? Movie, And A says again, what movie do you want to see? So what is the correct information here? Yes, that is sure. What movie do you want to see? Okay. Now 4. I've got what is the correct word? Good job. Headache. Why don't you? Then what is the answer? Please tell me that you have written. Yes, that is, why don't you take an aspirin and rest? Okay. And A says again, thanks. What is the correct answer? Yes, I will. And now number 5. A says, where we meet. What is the correct word the speaker used in the audio? Your answer should be, all of you tell me loudly. Yes, it is, where should we meet, And B says, how about the coffee shop next door? I hope you have written the same answer. Have you? Good job. Now number A again, A says, it's 2. Then what is the correct word? Noisy. Let's go someplace quiet, 6. A says, I need some, what is the information? Exercise. And B says, how about going for a walk with me? A says again, sure, I'll get my, what is the object? Yes, shoes. I'll get my shoes, Have you done? Good job. Now 7, see, A says, that was a long day. I am exhausted, okay? And B says, why don't you get to bed? What is the information we need for the second blank in this? Yes, that is early, okay? And A says again, I can't. I still have to do. I still have work to do, And again 8, A says, what did you write there? Well done. That is broke. Why don't you borrow some? What is the correct word we need here? Yes, that is money from your brother. And again A says, I can't. He is broke. What is the correct word that we need to keep here? Broke too. Okay. These are the correct answers. I hope you might have corrected your answers with me if necessary. Have you done? Well done, dear students. Now, as the first part, I want to give you a homework, home assignment. And your assignment is underline all the suggestions in the above task and practice saying them. In those conversations, you can find the structures used for giving suggestion and advice, okay? And your job is just to underline the structures or expressions. Is that clear, all of you? Very good. If so, now we have another task for speaking skill. And what are we going to learn under speaking skill? Can you guess? Now, let me show you whether your guess is correct or not. Now, first of all, I want to show you a short dialogue. And based on that one, you have to make your guess what we are going to learn today under speaking skill. So, what is the instruction? You all read out, please. Act out the following dialogue in pairs. And the dialogue is, Elena says, Rabina, why don't we go to the cinema to watch the Jungle Book? Okay. And Rabina says, no, let's not. We have seen the film many times before. What about going to the library? We have to finish our project work. Okay. And again, Elena says, that sounds like a good idea. But when we finish, let's go to the cafe. And again, Rabina says, yes, I would love to. Now, can you guess? Can you tell me what are we going to learn to express today under speaking skill? Oh, you are so smart. Very good. We are going to learn to give or express what? Suggestion. So again, one more example I want to show you. See, how does the woman advise the girl? Now, this girl says, I have a severe toothache. I can't eat anything. And what do you guess? This woman suggests. Can you tell me? You can just try. Okay. She says, if I were you, I would go to a dentist. Okay. This can be the expression that we can use to suggest or to advise someone. Okay. So it means that today under speaking skill, we are going to learn for giving suggestion or advice. So you can use the structures you should plus infinitive that we have already discussed for our listening task also. We have another structure, how about plus verb ing, present participle you can say, okay. Then we have why don't you plus infinitive. Then if I were you, I would, should, might plus infinitive you can use. Now, I hope you might have written down those structures and you are already familiar with those structures because we have done similar type of task under listening skill. Dear students, we have some situations here and for these situations you have to suggest, you have to give your advice, okay. So the first situation we have is, it's a lovely Saturday afternoon. Your brother is bored at home. So what suggestion do you give? Say, it's a lovely Saturday afternoon. Your brother is bored at home. What can be your suggestion? You just tell me. Okay, you can say, why don't you go to the park? Is this? Yes. Why don't you go to the park? Now another structure can you use? Yes, you can say how about going to the park? What is it? How about going to the park? Good. See, another structure you can use again. What can it be? All right, you can say if I were you, I would go to the park. Okay. See, if I were you, I would go to the park. So you can use any one of the structures for these types of situations. Now we have another situation in B, that is your mother goes outside and it starts raining. She comes back. Now what suggestion do you give? All of you try to tell me, please. So what is the suggestion? Please tell me loudly. Yes, you can say, why don't you take an umbrella? That's very good. Or you can use any one of the structure. Okay. Likewise, we have another situation in C. It has stopped raining outside. Now what do you say? Now you can say you should go outside to play. What you can say? You should go outside to play. Or you can say, if I were you, I would go outside to play. Or you can say, why don't you go outside to play? Or you can say, how about going outside to play? You know, you can use any one of the structures. Is it clear? Now, number D, you all should try, okay? Your sister has been playing for a while. Now she is hungry. So what's your suggestion? Okay, you can say, why don't you take your lunch? Okay, if I were you, I would take my lunch. How about taking lunch? Very good. Now another situation we have in E is your friend has a headache, head aching. So what suggestion do you give to your friend? Yes, you can simply say you should see a doctor. So another structure you use, please. Good job. Why don't you go to a doctor? Another structure you just use and tell me, please. If I were you, I would go to a doctor. Very good. And can you tell me one more structure again? Yes, how about going to see a doctor? Very good. Okay. Now number F. Your friend has lost some money in the class. Now what suggestion do you give? All of you tell me, please. All right, some of you have said that, why don't you tell it to the teacher? Good. And some of you again have said that, if I were you, I would tell my teacher. That's fine. And again, some of you have said that, how about telling my teacher, you can say. Or simply you can say, some of you have said, you should go and tell your teacher. Very good. Okay. Now another we have, the last one is Z. Your friend has forgotten to bring his pen. Now what suggestion do you give? All of you tell me. Yes, you should ask me. Okay. Why don't you ask me? If I were you, I would ask you a pen. You can say, how about asking a pen with your friend? You can use any structure. So is it clear, all of you? Now can you use these structures for suggesting and advising anyone? Very good. Dear students, after this class, you should be able to use these expressions, okay? And in your day-to-day communication, when you want to suggest or advise anyone, please practice these structures. Use these expressions, okay? Now, we have a task related to suggestion or advice. Now, look at the instructions and read it. Nabina and Nita are discussing birthday presents for their dad. Complete the dialogue with the words from the box and act out the dialogue. See, we have Nabina says it's dad's birthday on Friday, and here are options, okay? Let's, how about, what about, sounds good, don't think so, why don't, I don't think, shall we, perfect. Now the dialogue is, Nabina says it's dad's birthday on Friday. Now you have to supply here in the blank space. We buy him some socks. Nita says again, blank space, that's a good idea. Socks are such a boring present to give someone. Nabina says, again blank space, taking him to a football match then. Now again Nita says, I blank space, the tickets would be quite expensive. Again blank space, we make a birthday cake for him. Nabina says again, we are both terrible at cooking. Blank space, buying him a watch. And Nita says, yes, that blank space, he doesn't have a watch. Blank space again, go to the shopping mall this afternoon and buy one. Nabina says, that's again. Dear students, I hope you might have finished it. Now, let me check whether you are right or wrong. Okay. So, the first one is, yes, it's Dad's birthday on Friday. Why don't we buy some socks? Okay. And Nita says, I don't think that's a good idea. Socks are such a boring present to give someone, you know. And again, Nabina says, how about taking him to a football match then? And again, Nita says, I don't think so. See, the tickets would be quite expensive. And shall we make a birthday cake for him? You can say. Nabina says, we are both terrible at cooking. They are not good at cooking, okay? So they say, what about buying him a watch? And Nita says, yes, she likes this idea. That sounds good. He doesn't have a watch. And then what is the correct word here? Let's go to the shopping mall this afternoon and buy one. And Nabina says at last, that's perfect. That's a good idea. Okay. So these all words generally used here to give suggestions and advice. Okay. So you should not forget it, and sometimes supporting the suggestion, sometimes not supporting the suggestions. Is that clear, all of you? Agreeing with the suggestions and disagreeing with the suggestion. After this, again I have another homework for you under speaking skill. This is give suggestion or advice to your friend in the following situations. The situations for you are, he or she is not improving English. Number B, he or she has lost his mobile phone. Number C, he or she has hiccups for a long time. Hiccup, you know. Number D, his or her body is aching, you know, paining. Number A, he or she wants to learn computer. So you have to use any of the structures that we have practiced. But dear students, don't forget to use all the structures for our more practice. Okay. Now after this home assignment, we have one more item, that is pronunciation. It's interesting, you know. So let's pronounce the following words with the help of your teacher, and we have some words. So how do you pronounce this word? M-E-R-C-H-A-N-T, merchant. You all pronounce it merchant. Okay. Now you have to notice this sign here. See, I am pointing here, this sign. Do you know about this sign? So this is what we call stress. And when we have this sign, at that time we have to put our extra effort to pronounce the word. It means that our sound becomes louder, okay? At that position, we can say merchant. See, more is prominent, spoken louder, okay? Merchant. Now another word we have, dishonest. See, dishonest. You have to make your sound louder here. Dishonest. Dishonest, you know. All of you try to practice it. Dishonest. Dishonest. This is stress, you know. Another word we have is appear. Or is, you know, not louder. And this pa is louder, okay? Appear. Appear, okay? Then we have distant. See, da. You have to pronounce da louder. Distant. Distant, okay? Now practice this one. How do you pronounce? Yes, promise. Promise, okay? Next word we have is hand over. You have to make your sound louder here. Hand over. Hand over, okay? Are you practicing with me? Very good. Next word, bathhouse. See, this should be pronounced louder. Bathhouse. Bathhouse, okay? Next we have agreement. Agreement. See, O is not heard very properly, but G sound is louder. Agreement. Agreement. Okay. Next word here is also the same. Amount. amount, you know. O is not produced louder, but mo is pronounced louder. Amount, amount, okay. Are you practicing with me? All of you practice once. Amount, good. Next, the last word is judge. Judge. Jaw sound is produced louder, pronounced louder, okay. Judge, judge. Is it clear, all of you? So, what do you mean by stress then? See, these signs used in different words, this sign is called stress, okay. So, what do you mean by stress? Now, let me show you what stress means. Word stress is the emphasis we place in a specific syllable of a word when we pronouncing it. In English, words that have more than one syllable, we usually don't pronounce every syllable with the same weight. So each syllable in a word can be stressed or unstressed. See, sometimes we have single syllable. For example, we can find distant, okay, but appear has two syllables, a and then peer, a and peer. Dishonest has also two syllables, dis and honest, okay. So we have to put the stress properly. And dear students, to know the use of stress, you have to listen more and more to the native speakers, okay, and then only you can get this knowledge. Is this clear, all of you? Good job. Now after this, again I have a home assignment for you. This task, this is consult your e-dictionary and try to follow pronunciation of the following words with the stress, or consult your dictionary and write the pronunciation of the following words with the stress. You can listen to in your that e-dictionary, okay, or you can look at your that hardcover dictionary and you can write down the pronunciation which you can find after the word. And don't forget to put stress, okay. So this is your homework. I think it's very interesting and practical homework for you. Dear students, now we have come to the end of our today's class. I hope you might have fully enjoyed and engaged in our today's class. Please don't forget practicing what we have learnt in our today's class. It's all for today. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.